Hi everyone, this is Rosie and welcome to my studio where we can explore creativity together. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and a review of the new Tim Holtz glass media mat. I have been waiting to get my hands on this ever since it was announced. So let's open up the box and take a look. So here it is out of the box, and I do want to point out that there is a caution on the back of the box. You'll find it in the bottom left hand corner. It says this product is made from tempered glass and is to be used for a cutting surface only. Do not drop or hammer directly onto the glass surface. So here it is. You're going to see a little bit of a shadow here. I'm going to take off the protective plastic wrap. And these corners that are up here on all four sides, that was just for packaging purposes. Okay, so here it is. As the back of the box says, this is made of tempered glass, which means that it's stronger than ordinary glass and it's scratch resistant and heat resistant. The edges on the outside are very smooth to the touch. And it's quite heavy. It's not something that you're going to carry around. This is just going to be staying in your craft room to work with there. The overall size of the outside of the mat is 23 inches in this direction, and it's 14 inches in this direction. You have your printed grid, and there's some more printing over here. Everything on here that's printed is underneath the glass, so there's no way that this is ever going to scratch off. Now, on the left side, the markings go from 0 to 12 inches. It's also there in metric. And on the bottom, it goes from 0 to 14. But on the top, it starts at 0 in the center, and it goes out to 7 inches on each side. And then here, it starts out at 0, and it goes to 6 inches on each side. And the reason why we have these self-centering markings here is so that you can take a piece of paper and you can position it so that you have equal distance from the 0 on each side of your paper. You can even do it down here, make sure that it's equally distanced from the 0 mark here and equally distanced from the 0 mark here, which I think is a really nice feature to have on this mat. It shows a lot of thought went into this. Then over on this side here, on the top, when you open up the box, you're going to find a self-stick mat. And it's 7.5 inches by 11 inches. And it is removable, so you can take it off. This side is sort of textured, and this side is sticky so that it will adhere to the glass. And once you take it off, you reveal the palette here. And once you take that off, this is an entirely smooth surface. Now on the removable nonstick mat, you don't want to use any alcohol ink on there. It will stain it, but you can buy a replacement mat if you ever need to. Another thing that I really like about this so far is that the palette is white. So whatever medium I put down on here, it's just going to pop because it's going to be against the white background. And on here, whatever I'm working on is going to pop because it's against the black background, and it's going to make my colors pop off of whatever I'm working on. Now this is really set up for a right-handed person, but there's no reason why a left-handed person cannot take this and reverse it. And now you'll have your palette on your left side and your work area here. And on the bottom you have non-skid feet. So you have 3 here, 2 in the center, and then 3 over here. And with the non-skid feet placed on my work surface, this is not going to move at all. It's very steady on my work surface. So because this is tempered glass, and because it's scratch resistant, I can take an X-Acto knife or my craft knife, and I can cut right on top of this surface here. Now they will be coming out with some tools, a ruler and some other things in a few months that you'll be able to use the ruler for cutting. And I'm going to feel over here. There's absolutely no scratches in this glass at all. And I can do some freehand cutting if I want. And there you go. And again, it didn't do anything to the glass. It's nice and smooth. And because it's tempered glass, I can also do heat embossing on here, and it will not affect the tempered glass surface. And you can use your glue gun on here as well. If any hot glue gets onto the surface, it'll just peel right off. And then on the palette area here, I can use my little cube inks. This is Distress ink right here. And I can set up a little palette for myself. And right from here, I can just take a piece of paper and just start applying my medium onto the paper right from my palette. So it's just really nice to use. I'm totally in love with this thing already. And then to clean that up, I'm just going to take a little baby wipe. And actually, this you could even just use a paper towel for that. Then I can also use this with my acrylic paints. These are the Dina Wakley Media Paints. I put some down. And then if I want, I can actually sort of mix some of them together. And then just start applying my paint. So a great palette for paint. And again, I'll just take my little wipe and wipe it right up. If you want to use your little bottles of alcohol ink on here, it will also clean right up. I don't have any alcohol ink other than my Copic markers. But to clean it, you can either take some alcohol. I have a little alcohol wipe here. Or you can use some hand sanitizer. And again, that also will clean right up. And then I'll just finish wiping it with my little wipe. Now another thing it's great for is if you have one of the fuse tools. I have a little piece of plastic here. I'm just have it underneath this white piece of paper so that you can see it a little easier. But you can fuse right on top of the glass mat. When I first got this tool, I did it on my self-healing mat, not thinking that it was going to give me a nice little perforation in my self-healing mat. So I'm really glad to have this for use with my fuse tool. So hopefully this is hot enough at this point right now. Okay, so now this is all nicely fused together, and it did not affect my mat at all. It's perfect. Now I just want to try putting some different inks on the palette area here to see how it cleans up. So this is some dye ink from Altenew. And this is some archival ink. We'll have a lot of cleanup there. This is some more archival ink. We'll see if we can get it. Yeah, there we go. That's a little brighter. And this is some just gold ink, gold metallic ink. And I'm actually going to let these dry a little bit to see how they do for cleanup. And here's some StazOn ink, which we know is very hard to clean up. I also want to add some of my Faber-Castell pit markers on here, which is India ink, because I'm really just interested in how everything cleans up. And this is just some Distress Oxide ink right here. So there we go. So while all of that is drying, I'm just going to put down the media mat right here and just try and do a little bit of blending with the inks. These are just Distress inks. Give it a little spray and just take a tag. Okay. So it pretty much blends very similar to the regular silicone mats that we're used to using. And then the cleanup just wipes right off. This, by the way, it's not going to move around. It's really stuck to this glass here. I'm going to try and do some blending with some Distress ink right on this mat here. Now remember, this is textured, so it's got a little bit of drag to it. So let's see how we do with this mat compared to the glass mat. Okay, so that's the blending with the media mat. Let's take it off and we'll ink up again. Definitely a smoother action because I'm just gliding off of the glass right onto the paper. Okay, now let's see how we do with the cleanup of all of the inks and things we put here. So let's go back now and see how we do with the cleanup here. Everything is pretty dry. The first thing I'm going to do is just try and clean it up with a baby wipe. And you can see it's just kind of smudging everything around a little bit. It's taking a lot of it off, but not completely. Remember, we had dye ink on here. We had the Pitt pen down here. The StazOn is the toughest. Everything else is pretty much cleaned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try an alcohol wipe on there. Takes it right off. So you can put some alcohol in a spray bottle. Just make sure you mark it that it's alcohol so that you don't use it accidentally as water on your project. So there you go. This is a really nice product. I'm extremely happy with it, and I am definitely going to be using this quite a bit. And actually, I was a little bit concerned with the shipping because it is glass and anything can happen, but the people who shipped it to me packaged everything very nicely. So there you go. I hope this little demo was helpful to you. Please go check out my other videos and please like and subscribe.